to Life in Envelopes. I am Jennifer Bleecher. This channel is all about planning, budgeting, paying off debt, and retiring early. So if those are topics that you are also interested in, then please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you along on this journey. Okay, it is time to set up my April budget. Today I am going to be using the Budget by Paycheck Workbook by the Budget Mom, a notebook from Plum Paper Planner. I'm using a couple of products from Amazon, and I do have an Amazon storefront which is linked below. I'm using these highlighters. They are from Sharpie and they are retractable. I am also using this erasable pen by Pilot and it's called Friction. It's pretty awesome. I have links to everything in the description box below, and anytime I have a discount code for you guys, it is also down there in the description box below. I'm also going to be using a few products from my Etsy shop this week. First, for my monthly spread in the Budget by Paycheck Workbook, I'm going to be using this monthly spread kit from my Etsy shop. It is called Lavender in Springtime. And then I am going to use some budgeting stickers in my notebook. I'm going to be using April Showers as the pattern. And this is what the debt snowball looks like. We'll get that page set up today. I will also set up my weekly check-in page and my sinking funds page. Now that I am doing week to week. I'm actually going to do sinking funds every week, so I needed 4 of these. So we'll do 4 weeks of sinking funds this month. I will also be using some category stickers from my friend Cara Jo Plans from her Etsy shop, which is also linked below, and there is a discount code for you guys. And then finally, I did need to make some changes. I don't know if you've been watching my videos, but I've made a lot of budgeting changes. We are doing the bare bones budget, and I had to reconfigure my sinking funds overview because we are now moving to a week to week. So I was able to take out that extra week. I had an extra week envelope because it used to be that David and I were paid once a month. So whether it was a 4-week month or a 5-week month, and then we were always short on groceries and gas for that extra week. Well, now that I'm going to be paid every week, so now that I am going to be paid every week, I will actually have income to cover that extra week, and we don't have to set it aside along the way. That is kind of exciting because our sinking funds is actually going to be less than we budgeted for when I did that bare bones budget. Okay, so let's start by setting up the Budget by Paycheck Workbook. Okay, so that is it for my monthly spread. A couple of things that I added to my kit, which don't come with the kit, are the months. I'll show you. These are extra large months that I sell in my Etsy shop, as well as extra large 2021 stickers. Also, I am including these last few days of March in this first week. This first budget week here, so I wanted to have those date dots, and I just used date dots from, I have a date dot kit. It's a pretty small kit. I think it's called Days of the Week and Date Dots, or Date Dots and Days of the Week. It's Date Dots and Days of the Week on my Etsy shop. So I used that to mark those days, and then here are all my category stickers. So I will get paid from Etsy every Tuesday. So I will get 5 Etsy checks this month, which is why we don't need that extra month cash envelope or sinking fund envelope. We will also get David's paycheck and then my paycheck for my subbing. I'm going to take out an estimated amount of what I would make subbing from my paycheck, and then everything else that's in my paycheck is going to go towards our debt snowball. Okay, so let's move on to this first week here and get this all set up. So even though I write everything out here budget-wise, I do a spreadsheet on Excel first because it just makes it easier for me to, I don't know, I used Excel for years, so I like to start with Excel and then put it here. Putting it here makes it real, and this is like my workspace. Okay, so this is for the week of March 28th through April 3rd. So we have 3/28 through April 3rd. And I'm just going to put up here week 1. Okay, so let's talk about income for this first week. First of all, we will have a rollover amount of, so I'm not sure what happened, but when I closed out March, I think we had a rollover. Let's see how much our rollover was. It said we had a rollover of $953, but we actually only had a rollover of $700. So I'm not sure what went wrong. So I'm going to budget $700. And then David gets paid this first week. So that will be $1834. And then and that is for the whole month. He is an evening janitor, and that's how much he makes for the whole month. And then we'll get our first Etsy check for the month, and that will be, we're going to estimate $200. Okay, so let's add all this together and see what that equals. Okay, so 700 plus 1834 plus 200, that's 2734. So this first week we have a total income of 2734, which means we should have a healthy amount to roll over to next week. Let's see, the bills that we are going to pay this week, there's only one bill, and that's our mortgage. For $1337, that should come out in the first, but I like to write the date of when it actually comes out. So $1337 is our budget. Okay, so let's move down to envelopes or variable expenses. So we have food, and we have recently drastically reduced this category. So we are now down to $100 a week. We have a really hard time staying under $200. So we did it this past week, so I'm hoping we can really like try hard and stay focused and continue to do that. So $100, we're going to put $15 of gas in the car. This is my new strategy, to put 15 in every week, and then hopefully that's enough to always keep me have enough gas in my car. And then we're going to have a medical of 50. We will set aside 50. Is that right? Yeah. Yep, that's right. Sorry. I had to think for a second. House 50. House expenses are things like coffee, dog food, paper products, cleaning products, things like that. So let's move up to the sinking funds. So now that I'm getting paid every week, I will be doing sinking funds every week, and the amount has changed. Here is my new sinking funds. So I'm going to write them down. So we save for birthdays, car registration, Christmas, Our emergency fund. This is for our $1,000 emergency fund. Last time I think we were at around $700, so that's getting close to that $1,000 mark. Garbage. Garbage comes out once every 3 months, so that's why we set money aside every month for it. Vet. We have a pretty large annual vet visit. And then miscellaneous. When we recently went down to bare bones for our sinking funds, we kept a miscellaneous category to cover those expenses that we took away. Like we know that I'm going to need my vitamins still, David's going to need his medication, we're still going to have our annual membership to Sam's Club, things like that. So that's what this miscellaneous category is for. So for birthdays each week, we're going to set aside $13. Car registration, we're going to set aside $8. Christmas, we're going to set aside $25. Emergency, $10. Garbage, $5. Vet, $10. And miscellaneous, $25. So let's add all that up and see how much we're going to set aside for sinking funds this coming week. Okay, so that's $96. Let's go back here to the mortgage. I didn't write down my bill total, so that was $1337 for the bill total. And then let's go back to our cash envelopes. Let's add this together. Actually, I can tell it's $215 because we have 100, 15, 50, and 50. That's going to be $215. So our cash envelopes is $215. Okay, so now let's see how this all works out. I know with the sinking funds, $96 doesn't seem like that much, or it might not seem like we're adding that much to these envelopes, but trust me, it adds up and it makes a huge difference. When people ask me or tell me like they're having a hard time budgeting and they don't know where to start, I would say start with your sinking funds. This has made the biggest difference in my budgeting. Okay, so we started with $2,734 and we're going to put $1,337 towards our mortgage. So that leaves us with $1,397. Okay. Moving down to cash envelopes, we have $1,397 to start with. $215 is going to go to cash envelopes, so $1,397 minus $215, that's $1,182. $1,182, so back up to our cash envelopes, our sinking funds. So $1,182 minus our $96, that's $1,086. Okay, so this is our first week of the month, so I'm not going to pay any extra debt this week. I will go ahead and draw a line through that. But I will put money aside for rollover. I like to do the extra debt payment at the end of the month after we see how the month goes. So we are going to roll over $1,086 to our next week, which is very exciting to start the week with such a nice amount of money in our account. Okay, so rollover is $1,086. For a total savings of $1,086, which means we're left with 0, which is what I want. I want to end each week with 0, or end the month end with 0 as well, because I do a zero-based budget. So I'm really excited about the next week's check-in to see how this goes. This will be our first week trying out this bare bones budget. So I'm just really anxious to see how it goes. Let's set up the notebook. Okay, it's time to get our notebook set up. So let's see. I never did get to do a February debt snowball. That was like right when I had my concussion, or I got my concussion. So when I do my March debt snowball update, which is coming very soon, I will be the money that was paid in February and March. So be on the lookout for that coming soon to my channel. Okay, so we are going to start, so let's see. We're going to set up the weekly check-in pages first. So I talked recently in one of my videos, I can't remember which one now, I think maybe my weekly check-in. I talked about how going forward, I'm only going to check in on my variable expenses. I'm not going to check in on my fixed expenses. And the reason is because I really don't have any control over my fixed expenses. I can't really change those, but I can change my variable expenses. So that's what I want to check in each week and make sure, like, okay, we're on track or we're not, and if we're not, where do we need to adjust, things like that. So it's just going to be a more effective tool for me if I only use it to check in on those variable expenses. So for us, the variable expenses each week are going to be food, gas, medical, and house. So if you look at last month, these ones with stars, those were our variable expenses. So you can see when we did the bare bones budget, we actually eliminated several categories. Okay, that's it for the weekly check-in. Let's move on to the sinking funds.
Over the hills and far from mine, she's waiting for love to be realized. I'll send her my heart covered as a gift and hope that you'll take it into her side.
Okay, and finally, we're going to set up our debt snowball. Okay, there we have it, all set up and ready to go. We've got our weekly check-in, our sinking funds, and our debt snowball update. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, will you please give it a thumbs up? And I will see you all again next time. Bye everyone.